Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rise Up Gaming Podcast, minicast, newscast, flip thing. I'm I'm your host, the RB_3, and I'm joined by
Wolfcross, also from the Rise Up. All right, big news, crazy big news. That we all happen to wake up here in the U.S. It was bright and early. First message I saw on Discord was freaking Microsoft, Monopoly, end of the world, apocalypse going on. But I mean, you've been with the Xbox brand more than I have. Like, what does this mean for everybody?
what does this mean? I'm sure everybody over the past year or so has seen the amount of just very, very bad news that has come out about Activision Blizzard, Blizzard Entertainment, what's gone on at their offices, and a lot of their higher ups at different conventions, things like that. And they've essentially put a lot of their projects on the back burner. I know that a lot of people I know personally, and I've seen a lot of different, pros, a lot of content creators on social media talk about how they really don't like Vanguard and they really don't like Caldera, the new Warzone map.
Yeah.
Um, And I think that kind of stems from the constant just year after year churning out a new Call of Duty. And granted, they have the three different studios, so it's on like a 3 year cycle. But I feel like
Yeah.
if they would actually take time and not have to focus on hitting that deadline so quickly and maybe develop the games longer, it might be better. But that's neither here nor there. With all the Blizzard news, they've put a lot of their huge titles on the back burner. I know Overwatch 2 has been indefinitely delayed. Diablo 4 has been indefinitely delayed. There's still no mention of the next World of Warcraft expansion, which should have been announced anytime soon. And there's not even an inkling that they're going to do that. Um, but yeah, like Wolf here said, we woke up to the news that Microsoft has officially they're closing the deal to buy Activision Blizzard, which, as everybody knows, last year they actually bought Bethesda and brought them under the Microsoft banner. And there's a lot of different implications with it. There's some good. There's a lot of people on the fence where it's good or bad, and there's even some people that think it's the worst thing that could ever happen. So, Wolf, why don't we get into what the naysayers are saying? Why everybody seems upset? Because you, my friend, are always in the Sony boat.
Yeah, well, it's because like I feel like I'm not a fanboy
Hmm.
to that extreme, which I know some fanboys. I've always liked Sony better because of their exclusives.
Hmm.
I'll always have always leaned towards their exclusives, but I've always enjoyed the games. Like I beat like almost all the Gears. Um, played a lot of the Halos as well.
Hmm.
Love the new one. So I don't hate Microsoft. But I just hate the Microsoft fanboys.
Yeah, yeah,
Also,
yeah.
but I don't mingle with the Sony fanboys as well. But um, I feel like the issue is just when Microsoft does it is because they're denying games. Like that new Starfield. I'm pretty sure Starfield was for both Xbox and PlayStation. Then like
Hmm.
Bethesda got bought, so now Starfield is getting denied.
Hmm.
I believe that Elder Scrolls 6 will still be coming to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Um, so when this news hit, and then they were like looking at all the games that they were like, oh no, Call of Duty is gonna be exclusive to Xbox now, and all these franchises. It feels like they're getting taken away. Whereas the people that Sony has purchased is because they made games for Sony already. They already formed a relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the argument comes in. Where like all these purchases that Microsoft has been doing, it's for games that have already been established.
Hmm.
It almost, at least to me, almost sounds like a meme. Like, oh, we made this, and then Microsoft buys it, and then it's like we made this. Like, no, you guys didn't make Doom. You guys didn't make Call of Duty, I
Yeah.
was already there. You know what I mean? And then but
Mhm.
I'm talking about, like, that's how the fanboys are arguing is what I see on Twitter, which, is a shit
Mhm.
show on
Yeah.
its own, and that's but you see what I'm saying? It's like, it almost feels like they're denying established franchises, whereas Sony is like, "Guys, God of War, the whole Uncharted series, the Horizon,
Spider-Man.
these new IPs that
Mhm.
Sony came out with the studios they're buying
Yeah.
is because they've been working with them for years and years. So like if we're talking about first party versus first party games, I mean, like I said, to the risk of sounding like a fanboy, but Microsoft has been lacking. It's
Mhm.
always been the Forza, Halo, Gears.
Yeah, the only thing they've
Very few
had.
new IPs. I'm not saying they haven't come out with new IPs. I'm just saying very few that been hitters.
No, trust me, I'm in the same boat. That's why I like, you know me, I have a rotation of games. The only thing that Microsoft has had that has kinda bolstered them a little bit recently has been Halo, and
Yeah.
that's the flagship game of Xbox. It always has been. Um, Gears of War, we haven't had a new update on that since 5. There's no mention of the next one. And even that, a large portion of the fan base disliked 5 because of story direction. Um, but with that, I see the same arguments from you because I like you and I are kind of the same. We're very practical when it comes to gaming. Like I'm a proponent of universal gaming. Like I have my Xbox Series S hooked up to my PC because everybody I played with since childhood is on Xbox.
Yeah.
So I like to stay in touch because there's limited times where I can't be on my PC and play with them, so I fire up the Xbox. Like it's just it goes hand in hand. There
Yeah,
are
no, I
there
have the
there
same reason I have an Xbox too.
yeah, there's always PlayStation games that I would love to play, but do I allow myself to drop the money on the PlayStation to play those games? Because once I'm done, am I going to be like, yeah, I'll get on my PlayStation and play XYZ?
Yeah, well, that really does come to a preference because from what I saw, a lot of the people who play on the PlayStation more,
Hmm.
uh, if you don't like JRPGs, then you don't like JRPGs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It is a Japanese company. It's just like that's what you're coming into. If you don't like
Hmm.
Persona, if you don't that's another reason I like the Switch because Shin Megami Tensei, which you probably don't know what I'm talking about, and that's you know what I mean. Like
Yep.
it's a whole different culture,
Yeah.
and I feel like and then everybody who has both is because they just embrace both sides.
Hmm. Look, until the day we get the Oasis from Ready Player One, I will not be happy with gaming. Okay,
For real.
that's where I'm at. But back to the topic at hand. With Microsoft buying Activision and people losing their absolute damn minds, there has been some news coming out. So the deal that they struck, and this is directly from Reuters. So they bought ActiBliz for $68.7 billion.
Crazy
Um,
deep pockets.
I will never have that much money in my entire life. So with them doing that, the heads of Microsoft have already made the announcement. They've already said if there are established franchises on any platform, they're not those franchises will continue to be on the platforms, and the future releases in those franchises will also be on those platforms. So that's what Call of Duty, Overwatch. I think is Diablo on the PlayStation.
Diablo's on the PlayStation.
Yeah,
Yes.
Diablo. Um,
Mhm.
but the bigger news coming out is the fact that after an interview yesterday with the Wall Street Journal, apparently the heads of Microsoft and the heads of ActiBliz, who, if you're in any kind of Blizzard or Activision news, you know the name Bobby Kotick, who is the CEO of Activision Blizzard, who has been under constant, uh, shall we say,
Pressure.
pressure to resign due to stories that continue to come out about him, along with all of their workers. I think, especially at Blizzard, trying to unionize, and then
Yeah.
the
Basically, he knew about it and let it happen.
and he
That's what it comes
participated
down
in
to.
it himself, according to a couple
Oh, I
stories.
didn't know
Yeah.
that about it. like
Oh,
that, right?
yeah, there's well, maybe not that, I heard I again, story, um, he, like,
Allegedly.
threatened to kill one of his, female secretaries for some reason. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
We don't know
exciting.
the details, so, this
Yeah.
is
But
anything said here would not be used against.
in a court of law, yeah, pure speculation. Um,
So you think finally if they make the deal, he's gonna step down? Alright.
yeah, they have him on record as saying, once the deal is finalized, he will resign. And I don't know if that's because the path that ActiBliz was on was so poor, or
Mhm.
because Microsoft saw an opportunity, they struck, and they straight up told him, they're like, "Yeah, you're done."
Well, maybe it's just a culmination of all like perfect storm, you know?
Mhm,
Like Microsoft looking for talented people who can
mhm,
make the new IPs. I'm excited for this because all those franchise that they bought into. I don't like. Yeah, I mean, okay. Like I said, if the Diablo 4, I'm still playing the crap out of that.
mhm,
A lot of those games, I'm still gonna play them, right? But what gets me excited is new IPs.
mhm.
You know, new IPs for the same reason when you buy a PlayStation, right? And you're like, you pass one of their exclusives. It's like, what now? The same reason, but now it's like reversed for me. Like when I buy my Xbox, I buy it for the exclusives because I've grown my community or most of my friends. I don't know why it works that way, but most of them are on the PlayStation as well.
Mhm.
Same reason
Yeah.
most of your friends are on the Xbox.
Yep.
But when you buy the console itself for exclusivity, you know,
Mhm.
you need those first
Yeah.
parties. So now I feel like now that they bought all these, I want to see them. I want to see these beautiful games that are I want to see what they come up with. Like
Mhm.
because let's like I'm gonna be honest too. Like I don't want another Uncharted. I'm done with Uncharted. It's like I already know what's expected. They're gonna get beat the hell up,
Yeah.
and then he's still like, oh, it's just a flesh wound, a little scratch after like going through so much cutscenes and
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
little part. I'm like, really? He survived all that? Damn. All right. Like now it's expected, Like I'm done
Makes
with Uncharted. I'm satisfied. I have enough.
makes sense. Because when it really comes down to it, you know me, like, that poster right there, if I can point appropriately on camera, that's from my collector's edition of Mists of Pandaria for World of Warcraft. That game, for the past, I don't know how many years, has just been on a very, very rotting decline, and it feels horrible, which is, like, you know me, I finally uninstalled the game after, like, a decade. Um, but the hope is that with Microsoft buying them, all of these IPs being Overwatch, I mean, Heroes of the Storm still a game. Heroes of the Storm, Diablo, World of Warcraft, and I mean, Hearthstone, any unnamed projects. Not only will they be able to get more, because it's already been stated that they'll continue to operate independently until the deal is fully closed.
Yeah.
Um, but once the deal's fully closed, they'll be able to get funding from Microsoft, which that's probably the biggest umbrella you want over your head. Um, but you'll get fresh eyes from different studios, different developers. You'll get different aspects and viewpoints of people who've maybe never had the opportunity to work on those games before. And now that they're under the Microsoft banner, it might help in a lot of ways.
That's true. You know what? If you really think about it, that opens the door to many possibilities.
Mm.
Dare I say, World of Warcraft 2? After
We're
10,
we're
I mean, Final Fantasy 11 uh, and World of Warcraft were like going head to head
mhm.
for a while. And now Final Fantasy 14, right?
Well, yeah.
That
I
came out,
mean
and now it's
that
like one of the top. Now
FF14 is
World
the
of
top.
Warcraft.
It's holding steady as the most popular MMO in existence. Um, but I've heard people be like, WoW on consoles now. But I mean, WoW 2 might be a possibility if they can't figure out what they're doing.
Like,
That's for sure.
maybe or how about uh Wait, you think it's StarCraft? Wait, we're going in
Oh,
2
I
different.
didn't talk about StarCraft. People are gonna crucify me. Yeah, maybe we can get a new StarCraft or like another game in the StarCraft universe. That'd be sick. Do you think of like a StarCraft FPS?
Oh, man.
That'd be awesome.
Alright, so we talked about Microsoft buying things, right? We
Mhm.
talked about what could happen with the possibilities of now that all these companies are under Microsoft.
Mhm.
But now the competitor, it's kind of funny because like it's always just Sony versus Microsoft, but
Mhm.
like Nintendo, like we'll talk about that later. But like, what's Sony gonna do, right? That's what everybody's. That's like, Microsoft, like he dropped, like Microsoft dropped the mic, and they're just waiting for like Sony to be like, they're poking it with the stick, like respond. They're like, buy Square Enix, you know.
I I I feel like Square Enix is bigger than Sony. I could be wrong.
I mean, they do have fun. Well, I mean, we just we just went through that where, because if that was the case, then wouldn't World of Warcraft make Blizzard bigger than Microsoft? Wait, no, Microsoft Windows. Jesus, I'm a dumbass.
I'm actually googling it right now because I'm not sure. Square Enix has a net worth of $1.3 billion. That's as of 2020. That's before Final Fantasy exploded. I mean, that might be a very possible acquisition for Sony because a couple of the articles I'm seeing from different reporters is saying that the reason Microsoft's making these moves is they're preparing for a metaverse future, which kind of plays off what I said about the Oasis and Ready Player One. If you think about it, like with augmented reality and VR and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so they could possibly be making these moves for that. But I feel like that's a whole another rabbit hole that we don't want to go down. Other than I'm hopeful for the future, and people need to relax because they're not going to take away your games that have been on the platforms forever.
There's a certain point where Microsoft, the Xbox, did like a complete 180,
Hmm.
and I think it was when they were trying to do the REM thing, where like, is that what it's called? REM? Oh, that's like REM sleeping. Jesus.
That's a band.
No, when they were like saying like you needed internet to play your games, even if you bought them.
Oh. No, was that Microsoft or was that Sony?
That was Microsoft. There was That's why there was memes like, "This is how you share games." He just handed off the disc over.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, I feel like ever since they went 180 on that, and then what's his name? Phil Spencer.
Hmm.
Once he took over, their attitude towards gaming has definitely felt more community, more inclusive of everybody.
It feels very consumer and player oriented
Yeah,
because
it sounds like he wants everybody to play. So
Mhm.
I am not worried at all. I don't know what are these fanboys
Yep.
talking about. I'm literally a meme right now. Everything's burning behind me.
Well, because well, I mean everything
I'm like,
it's
everything's fine,
on
guys.
fire right
Everything's
now.
fine.
Um but if you truly think about it, why would they buy the company that makes the games and then go, you got to remove that entire revenue stream?
Yeah,
Because there's a lot
seriously.
of people that play like Call of Duty on PlayStation. There's a lot of people that play it. Microsoft's going to be making money from the sales of that game inherently. So there's no reason that they would ever make it exclusive.
Yeah, and with PC gaming being as big as it is
Hmm.
today, like they're they're just gonna make so much more money.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it, I think that's why it's called a console war. But I feel like there's a big picture that a lot of these fanboys are not getting.
I feel like the console war died years ago, and I feel like it's gone from console war to opinion war, where it's not really about what platform you play on, it's about what platform makes sense. You know what I mean? Like I have everything integrated through my computer, through my Xbox, and I can play with everybody. My dream is that everything can be interconnected, but that will never happen, at least from the two major companies being Microsoft and Sony. We can hope, but they
There's a
got
middle ground
they got to make
called
that money.
PC.
Yeah.
Literally, hey, you don't play God of War? It's on PC now. The future is bright. I am all for it. VR, I'm really hoping they hurry up in VR as well, but like
Mhm.
I think that's where they'll meet the middle ground. PC, VR. Sony releasing their stuff on PC. Microsoft is obviously releasing their stuff on PC.
Mhm. Yeah, I am genuinely excited for the first time in a long time in anything in gaming. I'm excited. So hopefully good things come out of it. Hopefully people can relax and stop foaming at the mouth when anything happens in gaming that they don't like. Um, so we'll see. We will catch you in the next episode of our Rise Up GTV gaming news shorts. Thank you guys for being here. I've been the RB3.
And Wolfcross.
Stay safe out there.
Hands as well, but you can't see it.
Stay safe out
All
there,
right, guys.
and we're out.